The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning to you here at 5 a.m. Thanks for waking up with us on a Finally Friday. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Alex Fisher.
And it was a violent night in Kern County with at least 3 separate shootings. And we begin in Tehachapi, where a domestic fight ended in an officer-involved shooting, leaving 1 man dead. Around 6:30 last night, sheriff's deputies say they were called to the Willow Springs mobile home park. Deputies there say a man confronted them with a knife and an officer fired his gun, killing the man. Deputies say when they got there, a man confronted them with a knife. Another man was found nearby with several stab wounds. He is expected to survive.
Less than an hour earlier, a man was shot in southeast Bakersfield. Police say the shooting happened on South Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, just south of Bell Terrace. The man shot is in the hospital and in critical condition. And then just after 7 p.m., Bakersfield police were called to Chester Avenue near Samlin Ballpark for another shooting. Here they found another man suffering major injuries. He too was taken to the hospital in critical condition. Anyone with information on either of these shootings is urged to call BPD.
Today we are set to learn more about why local, state, and federal officers were fanned out across Bakersfield yesterday and arresting several suspected gang members. Police say agents executed 21 search warrants yesterday. 17 News learned of several locations where officers surrounded homes and businesses to make those arrests, like this smoke shop on Irene Street in East Bakersfield, where a dozen suspects were detained. It also appears officers confiscated illegal gambling machines. And here's a similar scene at the Route 66 smoke shop on Lincoln Street in Oildale. And officers also responded to an area and arrested a few people around this home on Alton Manor Drive in the Brighton Place community of West Bakersfield. A neighbor in that upscale neighborhood told 17 News agents arrived around 6 a.m. and led multiple people away in handcuffs. Police are set to give more information about this operation later this afternoon.
The midterms are just 4 days away, and 17 News hosted our final debate of the election season last night. It featured the 3 candidates looking to represent Bakersfield's 7th City Council Board. They are Raj Gill, Manpreet Kaur, and Tim Collins. The debate focused on issues facing the 7th Ward and the city of Bakersfield in general. City Council seats are nonpartisan positions, but some candidates' party preferences were clear.
I'm proud to have the support and endorsements from Kevin McCarthy, from Shannon Grove, from Vince Fong, and then also from Zach Scribner.
I'm very honored and humbled to have a broad coalition of endorsements from the Bakersfield Police Officers Association, City and County Fire, the Bakersfield Chamber of Commerce, the Bakersfield Californian.
I need an endorsement only for Ward number 7. Who will see what can I do for them? And they will vote for that things.
Manpreet Kaur.
If you'd like to see the Ward 7 debate, you can go to our website, kget.com.
Well, this morning we are taking an in-depth look at the unopposed candidates for Bakersfield City Council. 17's Michaela Armstrong has what you need to know about the candidates of Wards 4 and 1.
In the city council elections, wards 3 and 7 are facing a battle with multiple challengers. However, that is not the same story for Ward 4 or Ward 1, with each candidate running unopposed. I'll tell you about Councilmember Bob Smith and Councilmember Eric Arias. Ward 4 is the city's most northwestern and has been represented by Bob Smith for 10 years. Now Smith is running unopposed to lead the ward in another term. Smith is 68 and has lived in Bakersfield and the ward for over 35 years. One of his biggest priorities is addressing quality of life, and he says he has taken action to help those concerns.
It's one of the few council members that was out front of Measure N, which now gives us the resources to hire more police, to address the homeless problem, to help clean up the streets, and invest in our parks and pedestrian bike facilities.
Ward 1 encompasses southeast Bakersfield and includes the culturally diverse communities of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Corridor, Casa Loma Drive, Southgate, and parts of Greenfield. Eric Arias has represented the ward since 2020 and running for another term unopposed. Arias was born and raised in Bakersfield and served as a field staffer for County Supervisor Leticia Perez and State Assemblyman Rudy Salas, and as a council member prioritizing the challenges facing hardworking families in Ward 1, a priority he says he hopes to continue to tackle in his next term.
We just received a $5 million grant from the state of California to actually talk and do some deep processing and planning about how we are going to sustain a changing economic landscape. And so we've got some tools and resources there. This upcoming Wednesday, we're going to have an opportunity to vote on a project to pass its EIR. It's an environmental impact report that's going to bring more than 2,000 jobs to City of Bakersfield residents.
Jobs are not the only concern for city residents, so is crime, as increasing crime rates continue to spread across the city of Bakersfield. However, to address crime, Smith says it starts with the police.
Number one, you need more police on the street as a deterrent, but you also need police on the street to create the feeling of the community that there is a police presence.
Arias says Measure N, passed in 2018, brought more police, but police response times could still be improved.
We've hired, just about 80 additional officers since it passed in 2018. Yet we understand that response times are still just as at the same levels as they were in 2018. And so we've got to take a hard look and be very strategic and focused on how we are going to address that.
Arias also says working together is the best way to address crime.
It's certainly a citywide problem, but we face unique challenges in Southeast Bakersfield. In certain parts of the old Ward 1, but also certainly also in the new Ward 1, we see some of the highest crime rates throughout the entire city. And so I charge the Bakersfield Police Department and the City Council working with community partners to come together to continue to do the good work that they are doing.
Homelessness is another concern citywide.
We have made progress. The numbers are actually down in the city of Bakersfield, and that's not the case through most of California. But we're to a point now where we need accountability. We need to be able to have cooperation with the sheriff, and when people are breaking the law, when they're vandalizing and stuff, to give them a timeout for a while.
A big issue in Ward 1 is street lighting, something Arias plans to address in his next term.
We are going to continue to push and push and push, because we know that, especially in communities like Southeast Bakersfield and in East Bakersfield, we need additional street lights, and it's a matter of safety, right? It's not just about visibility, it's about making sure that everyone can see on the road, whether they're walking, biking, or using an auto vehicle.
Looking into next term, Smith plans to continue his work on adding bike paths and to improving park paths and other areas. Another goal is to improve the sustainability of city water resources.
The city needs water in the river. It's a quality of life amenity. The city is a completely different city. If it's a dusty, dry riverbed, or if it's a water running through it and kids are playing in it and people are having fun.
Smith says making this happen is taking time, but he's still set on restoring water in the river.
It's groundwater recharge for the citizens. We pump most of our water, and so for water to be in the river and recharge our basin is important for us.
Heading toward Election Day, both candidates are excited to continue the work.
I'm passionate about the city of Bakersfield. I invest my own money. We're building stuff downtown. My family and myself have a long history of working for the city in a lot of different ways, and I hope to continue that for a while.
They are being heard. The Southeast is on the rise. We continue to make significant investments year after year, but I am right there with you.
Though both candidates are unopposed, you can still cast your vote until the election deadline in their respective wards. To learn more about each candidate, visit our website at kget.com.
State news now. Nancy Pelosi's husband is back home just a week after a man armed with a hammer attacked him. According to his family, Paul Pelosi was released from the hospital yesterday. He underwent a surgery to repair a skull fracture and serious injuries to his right arm and hands. The suspected attacker has been charged on several state and federal counts, including attempted murder, residential burglary, and threatening a public official.
Governor Gavin Newsom is pausing state funds for homelessness, saying current plans to address homelessness are unacceptable. He went on to state that at this rate, it would take decades to curb the homeless problem here in California. The governor plans to meet with local leaders later this month to figure out how to better handle this crisis. So far, California has provided more than $1.5 billion of emergency aid to address the issue here in California.
Mounting concerns this morning after North Korea fired an intercontinental ballistic missile on the heels of its biggest missile barrage ever. The most worrying, a long-range intercontinental ballistic missile fired yesterday morning. A South Korean government source telling NBC News it appears to be a Hwasong-17, the North's most advanced missile, capable in theory of reaching the United States. Japan says the launch appears to have failed, the missile falling into the sea.
We are focused on making sure that nobody attacks South Korea, and we're committed to that. Our commitment is ironclad, and we're also committed to deterring anyone from using a nuclear device.
The U.S. and South Korea are responding by extending joint military drills. The North condemning the exercise as an irrevocable and awful mistake. The Biden administration saying it's still open to diplomacy.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.